Jorge, fresh off the Olympics, how would you describe the impact of being in Paris had on Leylah Annie and Team Fernandez?
I mean, the impact is very difficult to describe, Mark. Honestly, it's an emotional roller coaster. It's something that you dream of since you're small. You watch it on TV, you watch all these incredible stories, and then all of a sudden, the dream is a reality. So how do you absorb that experience? It's been nothing short of sensational. She's grown a lot. She's matured a lot. She sees other athletes go through, similar struggles and sacrifices and suffering. So I think those stories of these athletes from all different types of disciplines, they overcome and they overachieve, is important. But it's equally important the people that don't. And you see them speak, and they're very incredibly positive and say that they're going to learn from that experience and they're going to keep learning. And that's an unbelievable environment to find yourself in among that type of mentality.
So from the clay of Roland Garros, which came on the heels of the grass of Wimbledon, now you're getting set for the hard courts of Toronto. As the coach, how have you prepared Leylah Annie for this tournament?
It's a great question. When we were preparing for the Olympics, I was doing in the morning clay, and in the afternoon I was doing hard. So really I was just teaching her how to transition from clay to hard in a very short period of time. So by the end of the week, or by the end of the 7-8 days, she was transitioning to hard a lot quicker. So I think that was the number one plan, and changing your mentality. With clay, you have a little bit more time. Hard court, you don't. So it's just making that mental switch. And secondly, you're coming home, right? Like, you're starting at home, right? So you should be happy. You should be happy that you're going on hard court at home. There's beautiful memories here as a junior and growing up. So you have to tackle all of this with positivity, concentrate on the things that are good, and forget about the things that are obviously, not as good.
So Leylah Annie she's put together some good tournaments. She's had some heartbreaking losses.
Yeah.
Feels like she's very close to
Yeah.
a long, big run. She made a fun on the grass. Like, where are you at with her game right now? How close do you feel she is to kind of having that big breakout?
Listen, we're very, very close. I mean, the part of the difficulty is whether you go for short-term gains or, a long-lasting career. And we made that decision early on, especially last year when I came back and took over full-time with her, that the objective is to break into the top 10 and live there. We don't want to get out of the top 10 ever, right? So, but to get into the top 10 and live there, there's a lot of adjustments that had to be made. And she's been making them slowly and surely. So she's been very, very close, some close, heartbreaking losses that, of course, nobody feels them more than Leylah. But she's such a positive person. She says, within 2 hours she's already saying, okay, we got to move on, and we go. So she's had a couple of quarterfinals, finals. She's doing really, really well. We're very close, and she's gotten some really good wins from very strong players. I mean, Kinwen, who she got a nice win off Kinwen. She's had Krejcikova. I mean, French Open champion, double. Come on. I mean, these things are very, very impressive for her confidence level, and we're close. I feel that we are.
What's been the biggest adjustment when you talk about the changes you've made to get her to be that player who can live in the top 10?
To believe in her game and her style. That's extremely important. She's a lot of people say she's aggressive. I'm the first one to tell you she's not. She's very offensive, yes. And her style is of elegance, of using more intellectual aspect of the game. So her decision making, we had to get her, back to making better decisions on court, and being committed to that style of being elegant and intelligent, almost subtle, right? And because she's obviously not the tallest player on tour, so I didn't want her to become a power hitter. I know she's got to improve her serve. I've heard it, I've read it a million times, but we can't forget that she's 5'5", and people say, well, for example, the serve, is her weakness, and her serve is going to be her greatness. It's going to be her major strength. because she's extremely precise and she'll be able to use it in an intelligent manner. But the first thing we have to do is make sure that we keep doing it, and when she does it, it looks beautiful. So she just has to keep on that path of making better decisions.